So our greet method talks to the printer interface, and this is a functional interface because it has a single abstract method. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could implement this method in a standalone function, like a function that exists on its own without belonging to a class? That is what Lambda expressions are for. So a Lambda expression is like an anonymous function that we can pass around. Let me show you. So I'm going to rewrite this code using a Lambda expression. First, we call the greet method. Now here we want to pass an implementation of the print method as an anonymous function. So this print method has a single parameter of type string. Let's add that over here. This is where we list our parameters. So string message. After parentheses, we add an arrow. This is called the lambda operator. And then we add braces to represent the body of this function. Now, what should we do here? We should add a print statement and print this message on the console. What we have over here is called a lambda expression. So if we have a functional interface, we can represent this functional interface using a lambda expression. That is why these interfaces are called functional, because they represent a function. So here we have a lambda expression. As you can see, this code is very clean and concise, but we can make it better. First of all, we can remove the type of this parameter. Now, the Java compiler knows that this parameter is a string object because the lambda expression that we pass over here will be checked against the signature of the print method. So the Java compiler knows that this method has a single parameter and the type of this parameter is string. So we don't have to repeat that type over here. If I type message dot, now we can see all the string methods. By the same token, if I add another parameter here, the Java compiler complains because it knows that our print method has a single parameter, but here we're passing two parameters, okay? So for the most part, we can exclude the type of parameters and let the Java compiler infer them. Now, if we have a single parameter, we can also remove this parenthesis. That makes our code cleaner and more concise. We use parentheses only if we have no parameters or if we have a method with multiple parameters. So we separate these parameters using a comma, just like how we declare the parameters of a method, okay? So here we have a single parameter and we don't need parentheses. Also, if the body of this function has a single line of code, we don't need these braces either. So I can clean up this code by pressing Alt and Enter and selecting Replace with expression lambda. There you go. So this lambda expression looks really clean and concise. Compare this with an anonymous inner class. This is really ugly. So let me remove this. All right. Now here we're passing a lambda expression as an argument to a method, but we can also store a lambda expression in a variable. For example, we can declare a variable of type printer and set it to a new console printer. So this is the concrete implementation, or we can set this to a lambda expression. So here we say message goes to print message. So lambda expressions are essentially objects, but we can use them to represent anonymous functions.